Hi, it's Gillis here, and we have started our 35th season of summer camp today. A little different this year with all the restrictions and things that are in place, but it's still a lot of fun, and a lot of things are still the same. And one of the things that's always the same is every year, without fail, somebody will be assigned to, someone new here, will be assigned to fill up the water troughs or the water buckets out in the fields for the horses. And off they'll go and dutifully fill them all up. And in the morning when we come out, this is what we find. Completely empty. And then you know what happens. Once again, we end up having to explain the concept of siphoning to the kids. So the problem at our barn is, if you'll notice, like, it sort of goes downhill, and the water tap is way down there by that white building. So when you're all the way up here, it's a long walk back to when you get here to find out that the bucket's empty. So we have to explain siphoning every year. So for any of you, if I can save you some time and energy, always remember, if your hose that's in the water bucket is higher than the open end of the hose. So let's say you've got a piece of hose that's not attached to a faucet, right? So if this end that's in the bucket is higher than the piece that's lying on the ground, the water will all siphon out of the bucket and it'll end up down on the ground down there. You probably already know this, but every year we have to tell the kids this, and every year we always end up doing a little extra walking the first day of camp because somebody will always leave the hose in the water bucket. Okay, there's another thing about hoses that really makes me much more nervous than a little extra walking though, and I'm going to show you that now. So if you look, this end of the hose is attached to the fence post, and it's also attached way back over there somewhere, you can't tell, but it's attached. So it's attached on both ends. This, to me, is just putting yourself in a bit of a dangerous position. When you see a hose, so this is a gate that we're going to walk the horses through in the morning, but you see the hose is across there. Now, it looks fairly innocent, but if a horse ever gets their foot caught in that as you're taking them through the gate, that can be a real problem. Kind of an accident that didn't need to happen, so to speak. So you're fine if the horse is going that way, right? Like he's walking across the hose that way. Where the problem is if your horse has to back up, because now the bulb of his heel can catch on that part of the hose, that little bit right there, especially when it's a little bit off the ground like that. So for our concern, of course, if you see the hose this way, but it's attached along the fence line all the way down there. So chances are the horse isn't really going to get caught and hurt himself, but he is going to tear down this hose off the fence. And the thing is, in the process of that, he may panic and he may hurt somebody just in his desperate attempt to get away. So again, some of the rules at Harrogate is, in the summertime, we never leave the hose in the bucket because the water will siphon out. And for a more sort of a safety thing, we never leave the hose attached across the gate if it's attached at both ends, because it's just not worth having the horse get into a little bit of trouble, panicking, and maybe, if nothing else, stepping on somebody or something like that. Just an accident that's easy to avoid. So that's it for this week. It's a short one tonight because summer camp is underway and we got to get up early again tomorrow morning to get back at it. You know, it's funny because every year, especially as I get older, I sort of have a little sense of unease, thinking about summer camp. And, it's a lot of work, right? I mean, the staff does all, my camp counselors are the best in the world and they're fantastic. So they really do all the work. But it's still kind of a stressful time of year. And you kind of wonder, if in our 35th year, you go, geez, do you want to do this again next year? And then the kids show up first day of camp and they just look so happy to be here. And you just go, yeah, it's probably worth it. I like to think if you catch the kids young, you can teach them to respect and love horses, and they'll carry that with them for the rest of their life. So wherever you are, if you want to leave a comment, let me know if you've had any summer camp experiences that you want to share, or any siphoning water buckets that you want to talk about or talk about as well. Anyway, thanks so much. That's it for this week. We will see you next time, and remember to thank your horse. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.